Former Social Development Minister Bathabile Dlamini has just arrived at the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court to face charges of perjury. The charges relate to her testimony during an inquiry the Constitutional Court instituted into her role in the 2017 social grants crisis. For more, let's go there live, and our reporter Samgelo Masawu is there. Very good morning to you, Samgelo. Thank you so much for joining us. What do we know about the case? Just give us a brief background into the genesis of this case, because all we know is that, is relating to the testimony she gave at the Constitutional Court with regards to the 2017 social grants crisis. Just give us a brief background there, Sam.
Essentially, Simpiwe, this case relates to the cash paymaster services tender, which was nullified, and essentially when there was a social grants crisis, when the Department of Social Development failed to pay millions of South Africans their social grants on time, and that created a lot of panic, a lot of anxiety, particularly during that period. And then the Constitutional Court ruled that there should be an inquiry into the government's failure to pay those social grants, particularly knowing that the government had said that there are contingency measures in place to make sure that social grants are paid. That was never the case. Then we had the Minister of Social Development, Bathabile Dlamini, testifying before the retired Judge Bernard Ngwepe of the social grants inquiry, where she allegedly perjured herself and never told the truth, particularly about the line functions and who reports to who, and her role in the social grants saga in the country, and she allegedly perjured herself there. And then this is where the case relates to, and it essentially now she is being prosecuted by the National Prosecuting Authority for allegations of perjury. Hence, she finds herself here today. This is also her first public appearance since she beat COVID-19 when she was hospitalized.
Well, Judge Bernard Ngwepe, Samgelo, who oversaw the inquiry into this matter, said that Dlamini was an evasive witness, only responding with questions, with responses such as, I don't know, or I don't remember. So I'm sure today she does remember. She has much more detail to give before the court.
Well, it's not yet clear whether she'll have more details to give before the court. We are waiting with anticipated breath to see her court papers and also to see what her legal representatives will be saying here at the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court. You'd remember that when she was speaking at that inquiry, she was speaking largely in isiZulu when answering those particular questions, which Judge Bernard Ngwepe found that she was a very evasive witness, particularly to the social grant saga. And you'd remember how it was such a thorn in her tenure as the Minister of Social Development, and arguably that would be part of her legacy when you write about the tenure of Bathabile Dlamini, the ANC Women's League president at Social Development, the failure by government to pay social grants. You'd remember at the time she and her then spokesperson were always within the media domain for all the wrong reasons, particularly relating to how they were answering questions on the social grants saga.
And I suppose then that whatever will be decided will give a clear message that nobody is above the law, as per Black Sash and the Center for Applied Legal Studies.
Essentially what you are seeing, particularly knowing what the president of the governing party and the president of the country had said over the weekend, in saying that law enforcement agencies are very busy these days. Quote, law enforcement agencies are very busy these days. You've never seen the SIU and other law enforcement agencies so busy in the past while. End of quote. That was the president of the governing party, the president which Bathabile Dlamini sits in with at the National Executive Committee of the governing party. So essentially, you've got where you are saying, and we are practically being told by politicians and by the president in particular, that law enforcement agencies have been strengthened as they were allegedly weakened during the 9 past years of the era of former President Jacob Zuma, by the words of those who are in the political circles. So it essentially tells you that no one is above the law. If you can have a former president of the Republic of South Africa being incarcerated for 15 months, mind you, he's also out on medical parole. So it essentially tells you that the wheel of justice is grinding and turning.
Yeah, indeed. All right, Samgele, I'm going to let you go so that you keep an ear and an eye on the ground for us. They will cross back to you in a moment. That was our reporter Samgele Masego speaking to us live from the Johannesburg Regional Court, wherein Bathabile Dlamini, who is a former Minister of Social Development, has just arrived to face her perjury cases. There's quite a busy day at the courts today, and